Serving up a warm dish of the Triad's culinary fare, here's your weekly helping of food, news, and views. This is the man who ate the town.
Hey folks, and welcome to episode 167 of the Man Who Ate the Town podcast. This is for the week of September the 14th through the 20th, 2020. My name is Tim Beeman.
My name's Ray Morgan.
And I'm Leah Metz.
And we are opening the recipe box. We are recording this episode of the Man Who Ate the Town in the lab, not in the lab, in the Less Desirable Studio South, basically in my house. We're practicing social distancing and using Zoom, sponsored by Bull's Tavern, which hopefully we get to go back to one day soon.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were off 2 weeks, one because I thought I was taking vacation more than I did, and the second one because it was Labor Day. And we are back now. We have a lot to talk about. We have special guests dropping by in just a little bit, but first we have some stuff to get to. First of all, I want to say congratulations to Tony Delisio for winning the 2019 Yes Weekly Award for Best Chef in Forsyth County. Tony deserves this, so definitely, most definitely, he's amazing, and he has esteem with his fellow Italian restaurateurs as well, because I talked to a good bit of them. The Man Who Ate the Town food blog was runner-up in the best food blogger category, congratulations to Nikki Miller-Ka, who was a former co-host with Stephanie and me on the Tart and Tangy Triad podcast, the precursor to the Man Who Ate the Town, and to Christy Meyer, who was in second place, of Triad Foodies. So, funny thing was, a lot of people say, well, it's the people at the magazine get their stuff better, but, Christy is actually the food person for Yes Weekly, yet Nikki Miller-Ka, who is the food editor for Triad City Beat, their competitor, won. So that's not always the truth. Carmine's Italian Restaurant announced in a post that they had decided to close their restaurant. They are, however, going to be the food service for Break Time Billiards. I don't really know what that means for the restaurant space. Is Break Time going to take over that space? Is the kitchen close to Break Time? Break Time has been advertising its new menu, and it's somewhat heavy on Italian options. My reason for asking this is, can that space be used for another restaurant instead of just wasting it away with a pool hall that the only reason they get to be open right now is because they are serving food? So, not that I have a problem with that. That's great. The people over at Break Time do good work for local musicians and stuff. So I'm hoping that the food does them well. I just think that that's an awful lot of space, restaurant space, not to be used for a restaurant, especially if we're losing one outside of having to go into Break Time to eat it.
It does sound like they've just kind of skirted around the issue there.
Yeah.
But, hey, if it works, they're open, they're serving folks, and I'm with you. I'd love to see somebody go back in that space.
Ichiban Japanese restaurant announced that they will be closed on Mondays from now on. So all Mondays they are closed. Conversely, Diamondback Grill is now open on Mondays. So
so if you had Ichiban now, you have a new choice.
Rotate.
Yeah, absolutely. Grecian Corner is now dine-in at 50%. They had been really holding off on that, so they are now back to open on for dine-in. Crankies have adjusted their hours. They are now Tuesday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., and it's still takeout only. I'm sure if you call ahead, they can bring it out to you. Footnote Coffee and Cocktails is back open after being closed due to the governor's mandates. They are open every day at 8 a.m. except for Sunday, which they're open at 9 a.m. And their closing varies according to what day. I think it's 9 o'clock on Sundays, 10 o'clock Monday through Wednesday or Thursday, and then 10 o'clock on Friday and Saturday. Finnegan's Wake will still do their annual St. Baldrick's Day event on Saturday, September the 26th. This year, though, it will be at the Ardmore Barbershop on Hawthorne Road. They have plenty of space in there. They can do the 6 feet distance between. They can still do, I think, 5 heads at a time. And if you want to donate or get your head shaved or whatever, go to stbaldrick's.org and look up Finnegan's Wake. I know that the event page for Finnegan's Wake is 553. So if you can go look for event 553, you can get the Finnegan's Wake page if that's who you're specifically wanting to donate to. Otherwise, just donate to St. Baldrick's in general, because they do good work. One year, I've never shaved my head for it, but I did raise $500 to shave my beard.
Oh,
and this was when I only had like the soul patch, but it was long like my beard is, and it was colored red.
Yeah, I remember the pictures.
That's the last time that I've ever shaved my face completely, and
but it was for $500 for charity, so that was a good reason.
Yeah, well, that was still 12 years ago, and the last time that's happened, and as far as I'm concerned, the last time it will ever happen. So
yeah, I had that happen once. I went to trim my beard up and didn't realize that the guard wasn't on there, and it was the last time I'd ever had to shave all that off.
Yeah, I look like one of my uncles, which is fine. I think my uncle looks fine. I just don't want to look like my uncle. You know, so there's already one of him. I don't need to be another.
Right.
So I left that. That was the time I said, okay, I'm not doing that anymore. Dr. Chop's Facebook page is no longer available. They have been closed since March 17th and only posted once. I haven't been by there, but I'm going to say that I suspect that they have closed for good. I believe they were having a bit of a struggle before this happened, so if and when I find something out more definitive, I will report it. Local chain K&W Cafeteria filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. They have closed one of their Raleigh, Chapel Hill, Goldsboro, Salisbury, Greenville, South Carolina, and Bluefield, West Virginia locations. They are based here in Winston-Salem, have been around for 83 years, and are struggling. The company says that they are restructuring the corporation and will probably be setting up for a sale of some sort in the future.
Wow.
I believe Ray will be able to talk more about this, but Food Freaks will be opening their new brick and mortar store in Moxville. Their grand opening is October the 2nd through the 9th. Ray, did you get to go to a friends and family or some preview night or something? I thought I heard Whitney mention that.
They're open every day now.
Yeah.
As a soft opening.
Okay.
They're continuing to stay open. But they're going to have the big grand opening that week, but I think it's the 10th is the big hoo-ha that they're going to, they'll have all sorts of fun stuff going on. He was still in the process. This was 2 weeks ago when we last saw him. He's still in the process of outfitting the rest of the dining room.
Okay.
When he was over off of Haynes Mall Boulevard, he had a big wall of taps, 42 taps.
Yeah.
Or was it 24 taps? I think it was 24. He's brought that over. He kept it.
Okay.
So he's got a place for that to go into the wall. He's got a lot of other work that still needs to be done, but he wanted the kitchen staff to get used to doing this in the kitchen. And he's putting some different things on the menu than what you've seen on the truck.
Cool.
So, yeah, y'all know, I love me some Food Freaks.
Yes.
And it's great to know that there's a brick and mortar that's going to be open. It's a good spot, easy to get to off of the interstate if you just drive over to Moxville. It's good that we can go get some Food Freaks whenever we need it now.
And it helps that Davie County is now not dry, so
right.
So he can have the beer taps there.
He's going to be supporting a lot of local brews. It's going to be a good place to go.
Good.
He's got a stage that was already there, so he's going to use it. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Excellent. ALE, the alcohol law enforcement in Forsyth County, met with several bar owners this past week and informed them that the governor's mandate was going to be enforced and that Food loopholes that some had been using to be open are no longer viable options. They must remain closed. There were discussions among enforcement and local owners a while back that many of the bar folk thought they could operate if they had some food options when the governor put forth phase 2.5, which, let me stop for a second. Does it not sound like an old sitcom or something when someone's playing hide and seek or they're giving somebody an ultimatum? I'm going to count to 3. 1, 2, 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 2 3/4. That's what this sounds like. This is phase 2.5. But when he put 4,
I hadn't pictured it that way. That cracks me up.
so,
Yes.
yeah, so it's like I'm not pulling the trigger on 3 yet. 2.5. That included more when he put
2.6.
Yeah, yeah. When he put phase 2.5, 2.5, that included more enforcement from the ALE and other agencies that were going to make sure to close any loopholes that allowed the bars to be at least attempting to be open. They had no other options but to stay closed. And again, I want to know, what is the difference between going to a bar and going to a brewery or a distillery? Now, I know that the
None.
what's her name starts with an M that is always on the governor's thing. Leah, you'd probably know more than I would.
Oh, Dr.
Like
Yeah.
Marty or
Yeah,
something
that
like
one.
that.
Yeah, I'll look it up here real
Yeah.
quick.
Anyway, they asked her that, and she says, "Well, because you have to take your mask off to drink. Well, don't you in restaurants and breweries too?"
Everywhere.
Also, then Governor Cooper says, because the breweries have higher ceilings and all this other stuff, none of it which made any viable sense. So, again,
Has he been to the showrooms of these breweries?
yeah, I guess not. So, again, my question, all or nothing. Either open all of them and let them prove that they can do it right or wrong, or close them all. I mean, of course, leave them open to create beer, but on premises drinking should be either all or none, in my opinion.
Can't blame the small business owner to go, hey, I'm sorry, this is the kind of business that normally y'all want.
Mm-hmm.
I have a reason that I want to be open so I can continue to be here long term.
Yeah.
They're not making any money, they need it.
Yeah. Totally agree.
Well, and so it's Dr. Mandy Cohen.
Yes.
And it's, it's amazing to me the rules against the bars, but then like all these college students going back to school, and what's happening there, with all these outbreaks, and then we had a president who's holding rallies, and then you had the motorcycle rally, and so you have all these super events happening. Like, where's the line there? And if it's not, then it just kind of looks like you're picking on one group. And that whole high ceiling thing, I was trying to think about any of the breweries that I've been into, and if they have low ceilings or high ceilings.
And what does it matter?
Right.
What matters is how many people are belly to belly and elbow to elbow. Because no one's standing there just breathing up.
Right. Right.
I'm thinking like Wise Man or Fiddlin' Fish. Yeah, they do have. But, I've been out to Old Nick's too, and theirs is a low ceiling.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not it's not a 20 foot up.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Just, I don't know. I just feel like we could do things differently and do them better so that people don't have to lose their businesses and the mix of all
absolutely.
this. There's got to be a better way. We have to figure it out.
Yeah,
it's not black and white all the time.
No, and they need to stop trying to make it as such. It's not black and white. It's not this way or that. It's in this situation, in that situation, in our situation.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
All right, so last week or the week before, I went to Grandma Ruby's Country Cooking in Stanleyville for the first time. I had a double cheeseburger and fries. It was a very good diner burger. I can't say that, it wasn't like flooring me, but it was a very good diner burger that I can see me going back and having again. I had it with fries. They make their own ranch and honey mustard there, so I had that with the fries. I also got to try the strawberry cheesecake that is made in-house as well. We hope to have Ruby on the podcast in the next week or so. She cares about her employees, and she told me that even more than the food, the greatest thing about the restaurant is the sense of family. She spoke highly of her people. I went back later that week to have breakfast with Stephanie, and she and I had to come back. Ruby said that I had to come back and try the chicken and dumplings. So I will certainly do that. But check Grandma Ruby's Country Cooking out on Facebook. Mary Haglund talks highly of her, says that she's a real deal. So, if Mary's given that kind of accolade, it's true.
Yeah.
So
that's the kind of restaurant that you want. It's not the big signature place in town, but it's the one that you go to 3-4 times a month that you just love the food. And I appreciate you highlighting that.
Yeah, it was so good. Just the experience was good. I really enjoyed it. And when we went back, Stephanie won't eat inside any place, so they have outdoor seating, and that's where we were. On the 2nd of this month, which was last week, and the reason that I was off of that week, it was the anniversary of Stephanie and me, and we went to 1703 to celebrate our 6th anniversary. Thank you. We had the tartine, which is a challah bread with house-made pepper jam, goat cheese, and prosciutto on it, and it was really, really good. I had the filet done rare, of course, and she had the duck breast entree. For dessert, she had the chocolate crumble, Ray, with vanilla ice cream, and I had a trio of creme brulee with vanilla, chocolate, and coffee custards that were all covered with sugar and burnt. That's where the brulee come from.
That sounds good.
1703 always does a great job, and we were able to eat outside and have a fantastic night to be. And it was a fantastic night to be there. It was not too humid, not too hot, and it was really nice. Tamara was our server, and she always takes great care of us no matter where she's at. And Molly and Curtis Hackaday, Molly Curran, the owner, and Curtis Hackaday, the chef, always do good work there too. So
they have a orzo salad that they make.
Yeah,
because I use them for catering.
Mm-hmm.
That orzo salad with tomatoes in it and capers, and that's some good stuff. And then when you go back, you need to get their mac and cheese.
Oh yeah.
Oh, buddy, that stuff is good.
That's the good stuff.
That's the good
Oh
stuff.
my! I don't want to know how many calories are in it, because there's probably good enough for a week in there.
Yeah.
Because it is just so delicious. But yeah, that food is made with some love for sure.
Nice. And here we are a year after I published the burgers, my favorite burgers in Winston last year. And number one was Boondoggies, right?
Yep,
so Stephanie had never been to Boondoggies, and since it was our staycation week, I took her to Boondoggies, and I had the Grandfather, which is the basic smash burger that they make there. I say basic, the regular, the non-themed, if we will, smash burger, and it was every bit still number one on my list. Stephanie had the Legends hot dog, and she said it was one of the best hot dogs she's had. So Boondoggies again, doing it right. So all right, it's time for Getting in Your Business, and we're going to welcome the co-owner of Winston-Salem's most anticipated secret, which we'll get more info from here in just a little bit, one of my best friends, Chef Travis Myers.
What did y'all get yourself into today? I mean, this is some drama here.
So, Travis, before we get started, tell us about your landlord.
When I say this, it sounds like I am being overly nice about someone, but the truth be told, our landlord, Coleman Team, is amazing. He has Coleman. Been there. Yeah, Coleman. Yeah, he has been there for us. We got him on a really good lease from the very beginning, before COVID was even the spotlight of whatever's going on. He has been there for us. He's been over backwards for us. He doesn't. His vision is this whole project, and we're one piece of the puzzle, and he wants this piece of the puzzle to fit perfectly. And yes, we're the anchor of the building, so he has given special concern and care to us. But he has been over backwards for us, and I cannot be more grateful. I've heard horror stories of other people with their landlords. Oh, he fights with this or she fights with that. She's like, yeah. We've heard all this stuff. And to have my first landlord and first restaurant I own be so, he just wants the best out of us, and him second. I can't say any more for him. So that I think Limble Team Group and Coleman and them have done such a good job with this whole complex. Not just for us, he's cared for the whole complex and everyone in all the tenants and stuff in there. So
that's true.
In a previous life, I had opportunity to do some networking with Coleman, and I'm impressed by him. He is hardworking and driven. And I mean, you look at the projects that he's touched in Winston-Salem in the last 15, 20 years. Yeah, he's done some really good work.
Yeah, you're right about that. That's a good point. So, we couldn't have a better landlord, especially given now with coronavirus. He's 1,000% on our side. He knows the challenges that we're going through. I mean, he's seen with our tenants and their stuff, so he's been more forgiving. So, I can't complain. This has been great.
I'll say for a small business to succeed nowadays, it takes a whole bunch of people willing to help and cooperate.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Sure.
Especially with restaurants. Restaurants are on their own, we're on our own terms,
Well,
but I will say,
you're always restaurants are always on the verge of collapse anyway.
Yeah, but if you look at the restaurants in downtown Winston-Salem, the owners that care about their staff, they care about their day-to-day business. They don't care about putting the money in their pocket. They really do care about their staff. Those are the ones that are successful. I mean, I can say Opie, Peyton, Adam Andrews, I can name Brady Lee, these are all good friends of mine. The reason why I say that is not to promote their business, but it's to say, listen, they really do care about their staff. They take care of their staff, and that's why, they're busy. And Natalie at the Kemptons, same thing. She's amazing. She takes care of her staff. She does what's best, so I think that that's what it takes in hospitality. I think that if you don't know this by now, you shouldn't be open a hospitality business.
Yep. Truth, I think that applies across the board in business. You treat your staff well, you pay them well, you give them benefits, you understand that they're people first. That always pays off. It always pays off to invest in your people.
Hire good people and let them do their job. That's how I feel.
Yeah. And be willing to train some folks up through the ranks.
Yes, retention is everything. In our industry, especially in Winston-Salem, because our job market is so small, it's not very uncommon for us to just hire. Even if we know, them from other people, don't hire this person. This is so-and-so. We know how they are. We know how they act. Sometimes you need them. You need a warm body, per se. And that sucks. You're in D.C. or New York or Atlanta, or Miami, you can afford to pick and choose. But in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, we don't have that option. We really have to take suggestions from other people. And here's the thing about personnel. They may be fit for a River Birch Lodge. They may be fit for a Village Tavern. They may be fit for Cowboys, but they're not fit for a Willow's Bistro. They might be fit for, what we're going into in our restaurant. So it's sometimes the staff they will determine their end all be all. And there's a lot of examples I can give you. And there's one lady that worked for us who's a front of house server, and she was not doing her job, and she was, just being the typical, like, just didn't want to do anything, and all the staff was picking her slack. And then Ryan, my business partner, Ryan, went up to her and said, listen, this is it. Like, this is I'm done. Like, either ride or die. What are you going to do? This is what we hire you for. And she, after that day, performed like a rock star. She got it. She got the image, the picture, that we wanted at Willows. So I think a lot of it is like, what are they for? And I know because I've worked in high-end restaurants. I've worked at commercial restaurants, per se, it's going to serve high volume. Everyone gets the same staple. And I've worked at quick service. Like, I worked at Cookout for a while. And it takes a different person to work these different jobs. Not everyone can do these certain jobs. And it's to identify that and to not crucify them if they don't understand. I know it's a bigger chicken laid the egg. It's not to crucify them, but to coach them in the right direction. I had a girl that worked for me at River Birch, and I knew her from a barbecue restaurant I worked at a long time ago. She was terrified. She's like, well, I don't know anything about wine. I'm like, I'll teach you. You can sell food, because she sold food great at the barbecue restaurant. And then we trained her. She did great. So it's all about training and retention,
What's your time frame for opening? Are we looking at November, January, sometime around there?
So our goal is, best case scenario is December. If we can open up in December, we'll be happy. We'll make money. We'll be able to serve the guests and the customers. We have already reservations in our private dining room already. We got them already booked. So if we can do December, that's great. And our guests know that this is all dependent on construction and everything. So best case scenario, beginning of December. Worst case scenario, beginning of January.
So what's the concept? You don't have to tell us name yet, but the concept.
The concept is a wood-fired grill. So it's a live fire wood. Everything we cook off is going to be off of wood. And that's going to be like the first thing you walk in, it's the first thing you'll see is like a wood-fired grill. So we got a GrillWorks unit. GrillWorks is a company out of California, and they build these massive steel or stainless steel units, and you cook wood, and you can lower the coals up or down. Like, you can lower the food up or down to the coals. The coals is a bed that lays on the table, and it's a live fuel, so it's all coals. And that's where our name comes from, so we'll get to that in a second. But the point being, like, if you want 600 degrees, you lower it closer to the coals, and you want 300 degrees, you raise it higher. Now listen, like, most people are not going to know what temperature it is. They're going to tell how it cooks. But on this live fire fuel, we can roast things, we can grill things, we can char things. It is the beginning of cooking was over wood and coals.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of where we went with this project. So, and when we built the restaurant, we said, there's one thing we want. We don't be able to see all the major stuff in one view. I mean, it's like Disney. Like, we're all huge Disney fans. Ryan's family's,
former executives.
Yes, his mom and dad are former executives. So, like, we see the value. Hold on a second. We see the excitement that we have when we go to Disney.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that that's what we're not building a Disney restaurant, but what I'm saying is that excitement that you have, that little spark in your heart when you go back every single time, that's what we're creating in the restaurant. So, with that said, when you walk in, you're going to see the live fire grill. And so our point was we want to be able to see every avenue of this restaurant when you first walk in. So the live fire grill is the first thing you see. The second thing is the bar. There's a huge bar, craft cocktails, wines. We've got a huge wine list, and just regular cocktails. We want you to see that action. So you see the action at the bar, the action at the culinary bar.
So two different bars.
Two different bars, yes. You walk a little farther, and there is a wine cellar. So we have a little. So the challenge of this restaurant build was the existing structure, because this is the old R.J. Reynolds powerhouse. So we had to deal with like certain stuff that we couldn't get rid of. One of them being like these huge structures that
The big concrete
held-
columns.
We use one of them for our wine cellar. It's all glass wine cellar. It's going to hold a lot of bottles of wine, like 600 bottles of wine or so. We're going to have a good list. And there's a private room in the middle of that. So you can sit in the private room and you can enjoy the wine. You can look at the wine through the solid glass. This nice farm table that built by
David Dalholt.
yes.
Yes, from Sunnyside Millwork.
Sorry, I don't know why I was drawing a blank. Yes, Sunnyside
such
is
good
doing
work.
all the woodwork. They're doing this
Yeah.
huge table for us. And this is going to sit 6 to 8. But then actually past that area, you go on down, there's a little server walk area because the guy had a place for servers to do the work. That's where the doors from the winery open up. Then past that, the next column that we couldn't get rid of, the next column is going to be the dining room. The dining room is going to have a fireplace. The fireplace is going to be a water vapor fireplace. We originally built this for a true fire, but not like wood fire, but like a gas-driven fire. So you feel the heat and stuff from the fire. We had, because of the construction and because of the building itself, we were limited on where we can vent things. And we've already vented a lot of stuff out for other stuff. And it wasn't feasible for us to vent this fireplace out. So we had to work on a non-vented fireplace. And the fire marshal wasn't going to approve it. So we went to a water vapor fire system. I could change any color I want. Like you come in, you have a wedding shower, you want it to be pink, you make it pink. You want a wedding shower with blue, I can make it blue. Whatever it is you want, we can make it.
There's 16
We're gonna
million
try-
colors to choose from.
Exactly. Rory G. Pibb, right?
Yeah.
We're going to try to keep it, normal fire color, but like any kid, any child, or any adult can stick their hand into the water vapor. It's water vapor. It's not going to burn them. So, we battled the whole heat thing. Like, to me, like, you can't have fireplace with heat. I mean, that's the whole concept of the restaurant. But this is what we had to deal with. I mean, this is the one place we sacrificed. One of the first places we sacrificed. Second sacrifice, well, I'll get to second sacrifice in a second, but outside of that family room there, we have our private dining room. Private dining room, we're going to seat the guests all around so they can sit anytime they want. It has the front patio, windows and stuff. But we can also seal it off for private events. Private events, if you want it to be secure and you don't want it to, patient information, you don't want it to be known. We have closed doors. It's going to close. We have projectors, everything, so it'll be sealed. One door is a regular door that fits around the building. The door you shut like it's normal.
Uh-huh.
Another one is going to be a sliding barn door.
Okay.
And the reason why we had to do that is not because we wanted it. It was because of how the building was laid out. Like these openings were different levels, different heights, and we had to worry about structure stuff. So we had to make a lot of sacrifices because of the building.
Right.
No, so the private dining room is going to be all enclosed, so you can have private events. So you don't have to worry about hearing. There's no sound buffer. Like the walls are 18, 20 inches thick. I mean, it's completely silent. We're going to have audio, video stuff, so you can bring in. You can have all the doctors can come in and do their presentations. Don't have to worry about anything.
Fantasy
we're gonna keep it
football
open.
draft.
Fantasy football draft. That's exactly what's going to happen. Okay.
Heck yeah.
To draw New York Giants, that's your goal, though. Okay. No, but and then one of the Easter eggs that we talked about earlier with the construction. So there's 2 smokestacks that you can see coming down the road. Okay. 2 smokestacks you can see. They say RTR top coat. Okay. There's one smokestack that you can't see from the road because it fell down in the 80s or something, I guess. They have covered it up with they built columns around it, But that falling down there, you'll see if you're facing the building, you'll see it. It's a circular, unit that they painted the same color so you don't see it, but it's there and it's below the staircase. Okay, there's a walking staircase on the second floor. Well, point being is that's the third smokestack. That was our original take to do a wine cellar. So, we'll look back 10 years from now and be like, that's the one thing we really want to do that we didn't get to do. But because of construction, because of how things are working out, value engineered, we made the kitchen smaller. We wouldn't have had space to do certain things. Even if we had the money, like let's say we won the lottery and we had like all this money to make this our wine cellar. I mean, you're talking like a 10-foot wine cellar, circular. You can go in, there's going to put a table in the middle of it, private, everything. What was killing us was the space getting to it. Opening it up is going to take a lot of steel and stuff to open up, like the structural stuff that Landmark is going to work on. That was one project. But let's say you had the money for all that. But like getting to it, walking down the hallway, taking away from the kitchen, given the amount of seats that we're going to have inside and outside, it just took us some good value engineers to say, you know what, this is a great dream. It's not going to happen because of X, Y, and Z. So we had to pull away from that. It worked out because they're moving the hoods, everything, all the ventilation is going up that stack, per se.
Yeah.
So, and we had that one in Buckman, which Tim has photos of. We had that. They couldn't tear that down, so that in turn turned into our wine room. They're going to glass it out like left and right, so you walk in, this is nothing but wine bottles. So it's all original. Like if you walk in and you see the building, you're going to see wood formed concrete, meaning like they board formed all these walls. And then once they put the wood, then they poured the concrete in, And then once the concrete set, they put a board off, so you can see the wood variations through the whole entire project. So it's really cool, especially in atrium when you first walk in, and all down the whole side, the main hallway. You can see the nail holes, the wood grain. It's really amazing of the level of work that went into when they first built this building. And what I want to back up to is, so the Bailey brothers own this property, and that's why it's called Bailey Park. But so the Reynolds acquired it later on, and but this original building that we're in was not there. So everything was torn down. So when you see old historical photos, like I know like Springhouse has that beautiful photo upstairs of downtown how it used to be, and you can see them online. The library has multiple pictures of it. This building wasn't there on Patterson. It was called DuPont Street, I think. And I know all this because we researched names and stuff for this. And that's went into all the name was where it's at. But it was DuPont and Newport or whatever, and Fourth is where it's located at. Now it's called Patterson and Fourth. But the original building wasn't there. So when the Reynolds took it over, I assume, I'm speculating, they tore everything down and they built the power station, the powerhouse, which is what Coleman has redone, and he's put this whole building behind it, this whole glass building, Viator's in. They're in there, and Variable, sorry, I was stuck with the so Variable's in there. They did a really good job. So anyway,
and the Variable owns Sunshine too. So, and it's not to be confused with a courtyard, but the patio. Tell us about the patio, because you're going to be able to put a shload of people on that patio.
Yeah, thank you for asking. That's a huge question. So we are the anchor to the building. We are the front and center to the patio, to the park, Bailey Park. We can seat 100 people. I think for the first year, we'll probably do 60 or so, unless we do events. We do special events. But yeah, we can sit a lot of people on that patio. It's probably the biggest patio in Winston-Salem, downtown Winston-Salem for sure. We're very fortunate with that property. So like Gears and Guitar, we'll have, everyone will be there. And the good thing about like when they were dividing this whole area down there, they decided that they didn't want any other bars in there. So Fair Witness is the only quote unquote bar.
Right.
Their grandfather. And outside of the Fair Witness, you'll have to be a restaurant with alcohol. So we couldn't ask for a better scenario for a bar scene. And if you've ever been down there here lately in the past 6 months, Centenary is killing it. Like their whole back area back there is called Cold Pit, slam full of people.
And Ryan and I had on Thursday last week, we had Incendiary's, it's blueberry banana pancake stout. Mm-hmm. And it was delicious. 11.2% alcohol, which I followed up with the Days of Our Past, which is a bourbon barrel stout that was 13.4. So I had to stop right around there so I could drive home.
Dang.
Centenary's doing a really good thing, and Flores is doing a really good thing. A pizza place in there, so it's the whole area is striving. It's unfortunate right at this point that Fair Witness can't be open because there's a wonderful bar.
Yeah.
And of course, you have the ice cream place on the corner. It's a great community that we're anchored in.
And you'll have Black Mountain right behind you. Black Mountain Chocolate.
Black Mountain right behind. Exactly. So the relationship we already have with them is over the top. They're giving us one in the very front of the building. First thing you see, we're the largest patio in the whole area down there. I'm not a person to brag about our accomplishments or to dust off the dust off my shoulders. But I'm so grateful that this happened because this is the first thing me and Ryan said. We looked at a lot of property down there. We looked at a lot of property in Winston-Salem that was high traffic. We waged it and said, why do we want this? Why do we not want this? And, so we worked for Eddie Shapiro and Scott Girding for years. And one of the things that their accountant, which is one of the things he said, and I don't know who was the first person to name this, River Birch. And River Birch is a wonderful restaurant. It's one of my favorite restaurants in town. But it's all about location. And when Scott and Eddie built that restaurant, there was nothing on Robin Hood. And they built a gold mine, per se. And I know because I was there. So this is, when I was building this place, this is what our accountant said, location, location, location. And that's something you always hear in marketing. They didn't invent this rule. But they're right. Absolutely. This is the new location in downtown Winston-Salem, is Bailey Park. Whatever's going down in there, as long as they have a good business model, they're going to be successful. So we knew that from the beginning, and we said, this is what we want. This is, when they say, can you have your cake and eat it too? This is our cake and eat it too. Yeah. But to us, we wanted an upfront area. We didn't want a second floor. We wanted right on the ground floor so you can walk up, get a booth, get a patio table. Because after 3, when the sun goes past the buildings or past the city's landscape, patio is hot. I mean, you got perfect seating.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, we're in a conversation with Coleman with the group, and next thing you know, we signed the lease. So it couldn't have worked out any better. Cindy Christopher was our broker. We knew her from a friend of ours that owned a property near Willows. It's funny when you talk about this restaurant, we're so young, but when we talk about the people we knew and how we met them, it's amazing. It's all on character. It's who you are. You're a good person. You do good for your community. You do good for the people that work with you. People are going to take care of you.
Yeah.
The people who introduced us to Cindy and Coleman and all those other people, they all had good feelings for us. They knew we were good people and they wanted to do right by us. And they know that we're going to build a business that is good for the public or good for the staff. And, so it's not just Ryan and I have a great vision. Ryan and I have a really good vision of how we're going to treat staff.
While, I talk you both up individually for what your skills and things are, I know when you're in this restaurant and the vision you have for this restaurant will be not about Chef Travis Myers, not about Ryan Oberly, the bartender extraordinaire. It's going to be about the restaurant as a whole, building the restaurant's reputation as a whole, not doing Facebook Lives and things about look what the chef did, because it's not about the chef, it's about the whole cohesive unit.
Well, You brought up a good point because our social media, Ryan's mom has been working with us on social media. Because look, when I was 18 and 19, we didn't have cell phones. I worked at the Gap. I'm not going to lie from it, and we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have any of that stuff. And then as I grew 10 years into the company, I realized, cell phones started coming out. They're flip phones back then, as we all know. But like, wasn't no social media. So like now it's a huge part of our employees' life. It's not part of their day-to-day. It's just their life. They were, before they knew how to operate, they're dealt with social media. That's another whole conversation with parenting. But you can't deny it. I mean, it's just going to make our business strong by our social media and the staff too. But people don't tell that do everything on Facebook Live. And it might not be the image of our company. And, we have to manage that. We want all of our staff to get the recognition they deserve. And not what they deserve. No, we want our staff to get recognition is better than what they deserve. And if, like Tim said earlier, like me and Ryan always, it's not about ourselves. We always put our staff first. And you can interview any one of my staff members that have made something out of themselves, and you say, listen, this is why I became, because Travis set these standards, or Ryan set these standards, and this is why I followed. So, and I was taught that by other people, and we're not reinventing the wheel on managing it. We're just saying, listen, you can still do these things, but we're not going to allow you to be on Facebook Live saying, hey, look, yada, 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 this is what we're doing tonight. It's an image that we have to uphold. And I don't think, like I said, big corporations have it easier with this. It's the small businesses that are struggling with this because they need it, but then again, it can be detrimental if it's done the wrong way. Mm-hmm. And we had to manage that. Ryan and I were going to manage that for our company because we have very positive views in how we operate with people and how they, staff and customers, I don't need some crazy guy that may be the great dishwasher in the whole entire world, but I don't need to put up some like anti-whatever post, and put a tag on our restaurant. So our restaurant will not agree with this stuff. People has the freedom of speech, so I don't want our staff to say they can't, have the freedom to say what they want to. We want them to. If we can be a platform for them, we will. But we're going to have it written, and this is the gray area nowadays. And we're getting in talking about football. We're getting into this right now. Like, how is this moving forward? So we're all learning, But our goal is to protect the brand, because if we don't have the brand or the image, then our current staff, won't have a job. And that's what we care about more than anything is our staff. We don't care about ourselves. We care about our staff. That's our number one goal, is our staff. Number two is the guests, and treat the guests perfectly. If we treat our staff perfectly, or we treat them as good as we can, they're going to treat our guests perfectly. So that's our goal. So, but, with that said, if, we need to support our staff and their feelings and their family and how they live and how they grew up, we're going to do that. We also got to protect the brand. I mean, we have customers, and it's a really tricky situation that our world is going into now. Yeah. That we're having to look at very, finite and saying, how are we going to do this,
So we've heard how you're going to cook it. Now what you're going to cook.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a live fuel grill. So everything we cook is off of wood. Sourced locally, obviously. We're going to try to cook and source as much stuff as we can locally. We'll still have to have, you're not going to have local cantaloupes in December.
Right.
You're going to have some, stuff here and there. Majority of the meal is going to be cooked off this grill. And everything else is going to be secondary. We're going to have a pastry chef, and that's very important because Winston-Salem is doing its best to have pastry chefs. And normally they have to work, on the line and be in pastry. If you go to Charlotte, and I have a lot of good friends in Charlotte, a lot of good restaurants, and they're all pastry-driven restaurants. So they can make it work, and that means we can make it work. I'm not going to hire a pastry chef in their job. They have to work on the line part of it. I mean, we're going to do our best to commit to this position because our town needs it. I mean, like John, Bobby, and Lucia are excellent, and so we're going to do our best to provide that job. So we're going to have pastry, we're going to have maybe some bread, but we're going to get our bread from John Bobby, obviously.
Yeah.
We have some bread done. I got some ideas that I want to do just for restaurant only. We got a whole section for that. We got 2 kitchens. One in the front, so you can sit at the bar and watch people cook. All your food on your orders, like you sit in Mission Pizza, you can watch everything cook. And then we have a back kitchen to all our prep and stuff like stuff for that and pastry. So we will be cooking seasonal. Like people ask me all the time, "What's your passion?" No, it's seasonal. Whatever the market gives us, whatever the farmers give us, either from Harmony Ridge to Fair Share Farms, to even some places in Charlotte, like Urban Gourmet with mushrooms and stuff. There's so many farmers that we had that we're able to use. But we still got to turn a profit. So we'll be using some broadliners. And any chef that tells you that they do all 100% local, they're probably lying to you. I mean, I'm going to be real with you. Like, we're going to use some broadliner stuff, Like for everyday cooking, I'm going to buy some broadliners. So, can't be 100% North Carolina, but we're going to try to. Every avenue we can, anything we can, we will. Eggs, for sure, proteins for sure. I mean, they will definitely be in produce. Proteins and produce most likely be as local as possible. And what I say is in our backyard. Anything I get in our backyard.
All right. So will it be small plates? Will it be big entrees? What will it be there?
Question. Yeah. So our dig is to open up small plates. To do like shareable stuff. Like we want you to come to the table, enjoy the food as a party, our family, or guests. So. Me and Tim go to a restaurant and we say, well, I love the Brussels sprouts. Tim's like, well, I really want the cheesy fries. And my wife's like, I want those pretzels. So, so we all share it.
Yeah.
It's all shareable. So that's our goal. At night, lunch and dinner will have 2 separate menus, but they will be very similar. If you come in for dinner, you want the sandwich that we have for lunch, we're going to make it.
Because you have it.
Even if you don't, right, because we have it. It's not on the menu, you can still get it. We're not going to say no to that, right? But I think we'll have 2 separate menus, but it's all going to be based on what's local. So we're going to be tied down to and I love making the menu and saying, oh, this dish gets this and this and this and this. I mean, it's just like we're all human and we all want something different. So it's not fair for me. I'm not Thomas Keller to say this is the only thing this pairs with perfectly. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm the person like salt and vinegar potato chips with aged white cheddar.
Yeah.
I'll go on record for saying that, and a lot of people give me a hard time, but my guests might not want that. So point being is we're going to provide a protein in the sauce, and if you want the Brussels sprouts, or you want the collard greens, or you want the grits, or you want this, then we're going to provide it for you. And it's what's in season, what is local. And that's the whole premise of our restaurant. Given our size of the restaurant, the amount of staff we're going to have, and location, we'll probably have to have some featured items. Like this comes this way. But Ryan and I's goal was not to get nailed down to that. Like honestly, if we're going to have sunburst trout, we're going to do it. We're going to put some sauce and garnish on it, and you're going to get that small plate. And if you want your side, you can get your side. So I think that's the role that we're going to go to. And we'll do features. We'll do features of these local items. So,
it's kind of hard to say what your menu is going to be when you're still this far out, but at least you've got an idea of where you're headed.
Well, and that's what people ask. That's what people ask me. It's like, do you know a certain item you're going to do? No, I don't know. Because it's different every single day. I create something different every single day. But more importantly, I rely on my staff to help me create this stuff. And I don't deny their hard work. I say, this is what Terrell did, this is what Sean did, or this is what Frenchie did when Frenchie worked with me. I learned how to cook from my grandmother and my mother, and I'm very passionate about that. And it's not a chef cliche story where my grandmother was just leading, blah, blah, blah. No, it was out of necessity, and we cooked out of necessity. And I wanted to learn how to cook, and I didn't know how to cook. So my mom taught me, my grandmother taught me, and I worked in restaurants also. Well, I went to CIA, upstate New York, and only Institute of America. I didn't have to do anything. Matter of fact, when they make bechamel, I make bechamel, but it was milk gravy. And so my first roommate was John George's son, Cedric. Good friend of mine. He's a great guy. And everyone's like, you need a room in this? You need a room in this? I'm like, there's some French guy. I don't know if he's Cedric. I don't know who he is. But that's John George's son. I'm like, it's John George. I don't know. I'm from North Carolina. You ask me about barbecue restaurants, I'm gonna tell you who owns barbecue restaurants. I don't know anything about this stuff, So I asked Cedric, he's like, yes, my dad, yada yada yada. So that's all I went. That's all it took place. So I was sitting around a lot of people like that, and they don't really care about who they are. They care about their food. And Cedric's the same way. Like him and everyone like him, it's just about the food. So that was what I grew up with. And people are like, you know what a bechamel is? I'm like, okay, I'm trying to learn what all the 5 other sauces are. Yeah. The bechamel is one of them. Okay. Then I make milk gravy, and they're like, that's the bechamel. I'm like,
it's milk gravy.
Where I'm from. Another fun story is I had a girlfriend of mine, a good friend of mine. She lives in Beddington, Vermont. She said, you never had creme brulee? I'm like, what's creme brulee? I knew what creme brulee was. And I eat it, because we're eating on stage. And I eat it. I'm like, that's pudding. That's pudding. He said, no, it's creme brulee. I'm like, no, this is vanilla pudding. This is pudding. This is delicious. And I ate everybody's, So, point being is, like in the South, we may call it pudding. In the North, they call it creme brulee. So, I learned at a very early age in this culinary, and I was in my late 20s when I career changed. It's not me to judge my staffs how to cook food. I want them to cook what they're used to, and we can incorporate that in our portfolio. So the long story is, yes, a lot of the ingredients will be coming from me. The ingredients will all be coming from me. I'll source them all from locally. I don't want to take away from the creativity of my staff. Just to showcase me. It's not about me. I'm in the background. If we have a stage where we can put forth these local chefs, I'm all about that. And I have a lot of support from my community with Jeff Bacon and some other people. Put these people, showcase them, let them do them, and then we from there.
Right.
So you've built this whole suspense around the what the place looks like and where it's at, and then the wine and the views, and then your daughter and the chicken.
So we'll get back to this. We'll get back to the rest of this conversation tomorrow.
So, are you ready for the big reveal, or you want to wait?
So no,
and build it.
Let me tell you where the name comes from. So we're working with Elephant in the Room. Okay, we fell upon them with Eric Swain with
formerly of Hoots.
The Hoots. Formerly of Hoots, yeah. And beforehand, Ryan and I had the hardest time coming up with a name. We just couldn't do it, And then we met Chad at Elephant in the Room, and Jesse and everyone else there. And it's like, I give them 200 names that I like, and they gave me 200 more names they liked, and Ryan put his thought into it too, right? But every time I think of a name that I really, 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 really liked, I can think of a reason why we didn't like it. That's both from me and Ryan. So, and like we've always said, the building will name itself. So the name that we chose, I'm not going to tell you, the name we chose, actually, Jesse and Chad and from Elephant Room come up with it. So it's not in the names that we chose. But I was very stuck on Top Coat. Because if you look at the smokestacks which were underneath, it says RGR Top Coat. I was really stuck on Top Coat. You can do a lot with that. Our marketing team was like, man, we can do a lot with Top Coat because it's not a word that no one knows. But it wasn't sexy. It wasn't what the building wanted. We'll use that brand somewhere because it's free marketing. And I'm going to say it today, so you got me on recording here. Top Coat, we come up with that. It's going to come out somewhere. Coming out somewhere, our marketing somewhere. But it just wasn't the restaurant. And like if you drive by there tonight, and you see how Coleman and them have lit up smokestacks. Like, why wouldn't you name it Top Coat? Well, because that's not the name the restaurant wanted. So, are we ready for it?
Yeah, we're ready. You don't hear it, but there are drum rolls happening.
So, it's not climatic as it is, but 600 degrees. 600 degrees is the name. What it means is 600 degrees Celsius is the temperature that we have a bonfire, you know, all this wood in there, all the vapors and gas leave 600 degrees Celsius. Then you're left with the coal, and the coal is what we're cooking on. So it works perfectly with what we're doing because everything we're doing is cooking off of wood fire. You know, and it took me a while to really come to this name, but like we have so many people that love this name, and it's just people that are in the industry. They see more restaurants than I've ever seen. It just makes no sense. And then you look on the building, like Ryan's got the perfect marketing on it, like the way that Elephant Room is done over the doorway. It's sexy. I'm not gonna lie. And this is what we need. So it works perfectly. We're cooking off of wood. We're cooking off the temperature, and the wood burns. It's gonna all the gases evaporate. It's gonna turn the coal, and then that's what we cook off. So it kind of all just together.
And certainly that ties in with the building, with the coal chutes and all that being in the building or going through.
Leah, great, because that's a great point, because we did not want, much as we wanted to say it was some kind of like fire thing. Like we looked at a bunch of different names, but it was like so many people are doing it, and so many people in this area are doing it, you know, and they're doing it successfully, like Incinerary. They're doing it very successfully. We don't want to like tap onto that, so we wanted something, you know, that didn't say fire, but yet it still meant we're doing what the restaurant speaks. So
tied in.
Tied in. So 600 degrees is where it's at. It'll be spelled out. Excuse me. SIXHUND RED, and then they'll have the degree symbol. So we're excited.
Cool.
And, you know, and that gives us a lot of play, because, you know, I said to Chad and him, I said, listen, this is great, but what's it going to be like 10 years from now? You know, like this is going to be a great marketing name. You know, like Topco was a great name, but you know, people may look up and it's like, yeah, I get where they got that name from. It is what it is. 600 Degrees is unique enough that like we can do a lot with it. We go long ways with it, and still means a lot to the restaurant. So, and that's why we don't have a logo today to give you, because
it's got to be right.
Chad, the elephant in the room is like, we're not going to launch something that's not right the first time. You know, it's going to be, you know, we don't want to get a second impression, you know. So they're working hard to make sure this looks good, not just like one logo, like a portfolio of logos and branding. We wasn't sure that we were going to go with a marketing team. Then we met Chad in the elephant in the room and was like, this is a no-brainer. Like, are you kidding me? Like, these guys are great.
Yeah.
So, and they have a lot of good ideas. They showed us a lot of stuff. We're very happy.
And to answer your question, in 10 years, the temperature at which wood burns is not going to change.
Yeah.
So
the whole Topco, I mean, yeah, you're playing off of the history of physically where the building is located. But I like the 600 degrees better because it speaks to what you're doing.
Yeah.
It tells me something about the restaurant, not just where it is, but what it is.
Right. And it has, unless you know the story, you don't know really about wood and coal and burning. And that's another reason why we like it.
It just sounds cool.
600, yeah, it sounds cool. Yeah, I mean, I would have never, that's not a name I picked. I picked a lot of great names. I will say that I picked a lot of great names. That wasn't one of them. And that's why we hired these people. Like they will come to my restaurant and eat because I'll cook them good food. And they're like, I'm not going to cook this good food at my house. I'm not going to pay for this marketing anywhere else. Like, this is it, you know. So I can't. And Elephant Room has done a lot of stuff down there. They helped Peyton name Mission Pizza. Mm-hmm. They did, you know, like you could pull up their website. They do all the Innovation Quarter down there. So a lot of like Coleman, the building, Elephant in the Room, Cindy Christopher, all these people fell into our laps. It's not because we're just lucky bastards. Because we're good people, say what we're going to do, and we treat people with respect across the board, no matter who they are. And we're we're hip. I don't want to say hip, that's not bad, but you know, we're intuitive of what's going on in the local community and what's in life. And that has allowed us to associate ourselves with people we probably would have met having worked in a restaurant. You know, so. We're very fortunate. We're very fortunate for 600 Degrees. I wish Ryan was here to share with me
Yeah.
It's hard. He was and honestly, he was the brainchild of this whole 600 degrees. It was wonderful. It was a wonderful bit of avenue from him on other stuff, but he's not here to celebrate this.
Well, we'll celebrate with him. We'll make sure that before you open, the Man Who Ate the Town will have to come and do a friends and family event with you.
We will. We'll definitely have you over for the soft openings. You know, Ryan and I have been talking because, you know, Tim, like me and you and Stephanie said at Willows, we talked about doing that event where, like, you'd film us live at the restaurant as they were building it, you know, and it would be like fast-paced, like filming. Well, as what happened, the restaurant realized that was a horrible idea. I mean, it's a great idea, but, like, no, they got stuff they're doing. They don't want to cater to us. Same thing while they're working. We often thought about the Twin Two Bottles. So that's your next show, the Twin Two Bottles. So you can have me and Ryan, Twin Two Bottles. It's like Twin Two Ferns, you know?
Yeah.
You can have us Twin Two Bottles.
I'll definitely
we can talk
do it.
about personality and how the personality of us has shaped this restaurant and other people, not just us, but other restaurants. Like why Peyton made Mission Pizza so wonderful. Because his personality is what he does, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's definitely going to be the thing. But we're about out of time, so we're going to just tell you that we are excited for you. And again, hate that Ryan's not here, but we'll work that out to where we get Ryan back, both of you. And like I said, we'll be with you in person before long, and we'll make it even a bigger spectacle at that point.
I love it. Thank you so much.
But we really appreciate you coming, and we are looking forward to 600 degrees. And you know, you're my favorite chef in town, and I think you're the best. And I have other people who have told me that you know, Travis is the best in town. And I'm like, well, yes, I know this already, because it's my one of my besties. You know what? You and I are lovers, right? That's what we've told people. No, Steelers.
Well,
all the way.
it is, and you have a good taste in football teams too.
Yeah,
so.
Steelers. Go on, Steelers. But so Travis, thank you so much for being here with us and revealing the name with us. Exclusive. No one else other than Elephant in the Room and a couple of people that you've told know this stuff yet. So we get the scoop, the bottom line, the here you go in your face kind of stuff, and we like it.
I love it. There's more to come too. There's more to come.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again, Travis, for everything.
We're excited for you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chef Travis, for being here again. And I really wish Ryan could have been here, but, you know, take care of your pooch, take care of your business. That's the main thing. We're going to do a little bit different this week. We're going to, instead of all the holidays, the history and food, because there's really nothing big to talk about other than, Ray, there was a 3,000-pound, I think it was, Hershey's Kiss that was made a couple of years back, or 500 pounds, sorry, it wasn't 3,000, 500 pound, 6 foot high Hershey chocolate kiss put on display in New York City. So
wow, that's my height and twice my weight.
And you could eat it all yourself.
Give me time.
So let's just go through the holidays so people know what's coming up this week. Today, the 14th, is Eat a Hoagie Day. It's
you said hoagie.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Did you say, what did you think I said? Eat a homie?
Well, my brain stopped at ho. I was like, what did you say? Wait a minute. No, that's not what he said. There was a G after that.
Yeah, yes, there was. It's National Cream-Filled Donut Day as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
On the 15th, it's National Creme de Menthe Day, which I am a fan of. It's National Linguine Day, National Cheese Toast Day, and National Double Cheeseburger Day. Heck yeah.
And why would those all fall on that day? Anyway, double cheeseburger sounds really good.
Yeah, it does.
I'm ready for one.
The 16th is National Cinnamon Raisin Bread Day. National
With the swirl?
I don't know if it's got a swirl or not. It's National Guacamole Day. You don't necessarily want that on the Raisin Bread Day. And National Play-Doh Day. Play-Doh was originally created as a wallpaper cleaner. It was.
Don't confuse it with food,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah. Yes. Do not eat it. Although
You can
it
make
says,
fake food out of it.
it says right on the thing, non-toxic, so it won't kill you. It just
Right.
will not taste good. The
Does it still clean walls?
wallpaper. I'm not sure. The
Maybe
seven.
it failed that, and that's why they're using it for this other.
Well, while they were trying to clean wallpaper, the kids kept making things out of it.
Maybe we've
fine.
got something there.
On the 17th, it's National Apple Dumpling Day.
Mm.
Uh-huh.
What kind of apple do you use?
I
Really?
don't. I've never made an apple dumpling, so I don't know.
Well,
Neither have I, but I'm going to go find me one.
As long as it's not a horse apple, I'm okay, I guess.
yeah.
No horse apples for me. The 17th is also National Monte Cristo Day, because nothing says yummy like a deep fried ham and cheese sandwich covered with powdered sugar. And it's National Pawpaw Day. And I'm not talking about your grandfather. I'm talking about the fruit, pawpaw, that is kind of like a banana. Actually, they say it contains more vitamin C and antioxidants than most other citrus fruit. And it is indigenous mostly to the southern and central United States.
I've never had a pawpaw.
I haven't either. So let's go down to the pawpaw patch. Okay.
I had a grandfather we called pawpaw.
Oh, that's what I've called both of my grandfathers, and my dad and my ex-wife's dad were the 3Bs. Trey's pawpaw. So
Yeah.
yeah. The 18th is, as opposed to the 15th, which is National Double Cheeseburger Day, the 18th is National Cheeseburger Day.
So we get to have double doses of cheeseburger this week.
Yes, but on the 18th, only have one patty. It's also,
But, now, if you really want to, you could have two of them.
Right.
that's right. I like how you think.
2 cheeseburgers. Two. 2 are better than one.
2 are always better than 1. The third Friday of the month is always International Grenache Day. The Grenache grape is one of the most widely planted red wine grapes in the world, and it is often used in blends. The 19th is, if I'm picking my favorite pudding, National Butterscotch Pudding Day is the 19th. I am a big fan of almost everything butterscotch. The 20th is National Rum Punch Day. Yes. National Pepperoni Pizza Day. Yes. And National Fried Rice Day. Yes.
Yes.
I like them all.
I'm good with all that.
Would you have that all in one meal?
Maybe not.
Why not? Why not?
Back it up. First course, second course, third course,
Well, the rum punch, you'd want to do that all day.
all
Yes.
the whole
all,
time.
all day long. Yes. Well, that's all the food holidays for this week. Special thanks to James Ealer at Food Reference for making us chuckle and roll our eyes. And we really didn't dive into anything that made us go, but we do know that we're going to eat a shload of cheeseburgers this week.
Yes.
And there was a twice race size Hershey Kiss in New York City in 1990 on the 18th. So.
I'm dead just biting my hand.
The Man Who Ate the Town podcast is part of the Less Desirables Podcast Network. Along with this podcast, you can listen to the Less Desirables, the Beer Dads, Fan Interference, Apartment 5B, Beeswax Vinyl and More, Sipping NC, Wheeler's Dog, and Asylum, Tales from the Devereaux's Diary podcast. You can find all these podcasts and their latest episodes on our network website and directory, tldpodnetwork.com. You can also find social media links for each one there as well. We greatly appreciate if you visit our sponsors like Carrabba's Italian Grill, located 587 South Stratford Road. This is no damn chain. This is a responsible family of restaurants. Carrabba's and their owner partners take the communities they serve very seriously. And for us, having a fantastic franchisee and friend like Daniel certainly does not suck. Follow Carrabba's on social media and on carrabbas.com. So you guys know, the table for the Less Desirable studio proper is closer to being done. Ray, Daniel has been working on that, and we will hopefully debut it in the next week or so.
Oh, I look forward to that.
Washington Perk and Provision Company is located 301 West 4th Street. You'll find a little bit of everything at the Perk, a chip corner, a deli to get your sandwich on the go, local fruits and veggies, and dairy and meat from local sources, Bingo Bango sodas, Wolfie's Custard, a wall of beer and wine, and more. Washington Perk is better than the convenience store, not quite a grocery store. On Facebook, they're Washington Perk or at Washington Perk _DTWS on Instagram. The Humblebee shop is located at 1003 Brookstown Avenue in the west end of downtown. You've not had good until you've tasted the treats and goodies that Brittany McGee is whipping up in her shop, be it muffins, cakes, macarons, and more. Many things vegan and gluten-free as well. The Humblebee shop wants to challenge your perception of Scratch Made and leave you with an experience you couldn't possibly forget. For more information, follow them on Facebook and Instagram or visit thehumblebeshopapa.co.
That's SHOPPE.co.
So this is a reminder to all of the listeners, and it's just good practice, not just now, but for always. Wash your damn hands. Wash them under warm water and soap. Wash them with that for about 20 seconds or more. If you need a guide, just sing this song. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Are my hands clean now?
What?
Keep washing.
Keep washing. That's just now 20 seconds.
Washing and washing and washing your hands.
Wash your damn hands, white boy.
And throw that towel away.
That's great.
Don't touch that door with your hands now.
Because you're washing.
Put down that soap and wash your damn hands till they're dry. Okay, so keep an eye
It's a
on...
work in progress.
Yeah, let's work on that one.
Yeah, we got to work on that one. Wash your damn hands, white boy. Or all boys and girls. Keep an eye on my blog and this podcast to find out more about the food news and happenings around town. If you have any food news, send us an email, tim@themanwhoatethetown.com or Ray at themanwhoatethetown.com or Leah at themanwhoatethetown.com. Whew, that's a mouthful. You can also contact us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter Instant Messengers. Yeah, like us on Facebook. On Twitter, we are Man Who Number 8 the Town. On Instagram, we are Man Who 8 the Town. And we now invite you to call, leave a voicemail for the podcast. Actually, any podcast on the TLD network, you can call 336-422-6862. That's right, 336-422. Leave us a voicemail, and we'll play it on the podcast. Again, 336-422-NUM. All right, well, thank you again to Travis for coming and giving us a load of information on the new restaurant. And until, my name is Tim.
My name's Ray.
And I'm Leah.
And until next time, thank you for reading. Thank you for listening. Oh, I got to close the recipe box, right?
Oh.
Generally, we do close that before we finish.
Yeah, I was getting ready to put it up and stuff started falling out. Hold on. All right, there we go. Whew.
There we go.
Until next time, thank you for reading. Thank you for listening. Bon appetit.
Yamas.
The views and opinions stated by me or any of my guests are solely those of ours and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of our hosting companies, distributors, enemies, friends, or relatives. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced or distributed without express written consent of the Man Who Ate the Town, that's me, and Such Limited Inc. However, if you ask nicely, we'll probably let you.